I listen to people talk about relationships and you have to know where your line of demarcation is, because we all see the red flags. You see the red flag with the person you're with, and you say, no, it's not really, it is really a red flag.
Academy Award-winning actress and beloved TV personality Whoopi Goldberg has found herself at the center of a shocking investigation. FBI agents descended upon her estate, uncovering disturbing evidence that has left fans and colleagues stunned. As details of the probe begin to emerge, the usually outspoken Goldberg has remained tight-lipped, fueling speculation and concern. What secrets have been hidden behind the gates of her private estate, and how will this bombshell impact her illustrious career? Join us as FBI uncovers disturbing evidence at Whoopi Goldberg's estate. The unusual raid. At the seasoned age of 69, Whoopi Goldberg has lived through more careers and more controversies than most of her veteran peers in show business. They were breakout mid-80s as a New York theater sensation, her rise to Hollywood stardom with an Oscar win for her performance in Ghost, and the box office success of Sister Act, her tenure via HBO's comic relief specials as one of America's comedy queens, and since 2007 her posts as a left-leaning and often irascible voice on the daytime talk show The View, not to mention her new side ventures in cannabis products and women's wear. To cut the long story short, it's been a winding path for her, even though Goldberg disputes. She argued that her path had never been clear-cut. She believed that one's career unfolds on its own, taking unexpected turns along the way. In fact, for a long time, people struggled to understand how she had managed to establish her career in the first place. A hint of amusement crossed her face as she acknowledged that this lack of understanding was in itself a bit of a put-down. While her winding career might have brought a soft smile on her face, the controversies, especially the one with the FBI, must have brought her nothing but panic. In the early morning, the neighborhood around Whoopi Goldberg's mansion was so quiet that you could hear the soft rustling of leaves falling onto the sidewalk. It was those kinds of mornings that you'd wrestle anything that disturbed the serenity. But this morning, that calm was shattered by the roar of engines, hurried footsteps, and an air of tension so thick it could be sliced with a knife. It was just around 5 a.m., barely daybreak, with the sun still hiding beneath the horizon, and the neighbors were all fast asleep, save for a few early risers out for a walk. But even they quickly sensed that something was amiss. A convoy of black SUVs with no license plates appeared, moving with a slow, deliberate purpose. Men in black suits, bulletproof vests, and sunglasses stepped out, their expressions unreadable and their gaze firmly focused on Goldberg's mansion. They swiftly surrounded Goldberg's mansion, blocking all entrances and ensuring no one could enter or leave. The air was electric with anticipation, and the neighbors, now fully awake, watched in shock as the scene unfolded before their eyes. Then the knocking echoed like thunder in the quiet morning. There was no softness or hesitation. This was no ordinary visit. This was a raid. Someone inside the mansion moved, and the light from the upstairs window flickered on, signaling that the homeowner had woken. The heavy wooden door slowly creaked open, revealing Whoopi Goldberg, the iconic entertainer who had survived Hollywood's highs and lows but never faced anything like this. Despite just waking up, Whoopi Goldberg remained her composed self, wearing a light gray robe, her hair cascading naturally, and her eyes scanning the group of agents at the door. There was no fear, only surprise and a hint of confusion. "What's going on?" Her voice was calm yet sharp. One of the agents stepped forward, displaying an FBI badge, before pulling a file from his black briefcase. "We have a search warrant. This is a federal investigation." The words landed like a bomb in the morning mist. As soon as the door opened, the agent swiftly moved in, taking over the mansion's interior. Neighbors started to gather, their curiosity piqued. Who would have thought that Whoopi Goldberg, a middle-aged woman, would be tied to the FBI? Whispers spread, and the rumors only thickened the tension. A few reporters caught wind of the situation and quickly arrived, cameras raised, eager to capture every moment. Local police were called in to control the crowd, setting up barricades to prevent anyone from getting too close to the mansion. The flashes from the cameras flickered relentlessly, bouncing off the glass of the FBI vehicles, creating a chaotic and dramatic scene. Meanwhile, inside the lavish mansion, a thorough search was underway. The agents split into teams, each with a specific task. They checked every room, opened every drawer, moved every book on the shelf, leaving nothing untouched. Whoopi Goldberg stood silently in the living room, arms crossed, her eyes fixed on the people searching her home. She knew one thing. The FBI didn't show up at her door without a reason. The question remained as to what had sparked the FBI's suspicion and prompted their investigation. One agent approached, locking eyes with her, and sternly asked, "Do you want us to call your lawyer?" Whoopi Goldberg took a deep breath and nodded. "I think that's the right thing to do." No one knew exactly what the FBI was looking for, but one thing was clear. They had a very serious reason for conducting the raid. Some agents, wearing white gloves, carefully opened a drawer in Whoopi's personal library, where she stored important documents including scripts, contracts, and personal letters she had written over the years. One agent pulled out a stack of papers, slowly flipping through each page. On the other side of the house, another team was inspecting the rarely visited basement. Dusty old boxes were opened, each item carefully examined. After a while, it was looking like their mission there had been in vain, and they would have awkwardly apologized for disturbing the peaceful morning, and out of nowhere, one of the agents abruptly announced that they had discovered something. So what did they find that's worth all the drama the FBI's presence had brought that quiet morning? Let's find out. The biggest mystery. Inside the mansion, the entire FBI team converged, their attention drawn to a metal box pulled from a hidden corner. The box was locked, showing no signs of tampering for years. Whoopi Goldberg stood nearby, squinting her eyes. "I've never seen that box," she said slowly. The agents exchanged glances before swiftly taking the box outside. They didn't open it right away, instead carefully sealing it and transferring it to a specialized vehicle. After hours of searching, the FBI finally left, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a famous actor standing in her mansion, surrounded by suspicion. The crowd outside began to disperse, but the stories continued to spread. Headlines quickly appeared: FBI raids Whoopi Goldberg's home, what's going on? Secrets in Whoopi's mansion, what did the FBI find? All of America waited for answers, but only those involved knew the truth. The raid on Whoopi Goldberg's mansion was not a random act. Those in law enforcement know that the FBI never conducts a search without having gathered solid evidence. This raised a big question. How long had the FBI been monitoring the star entertainer? According to several internal sources, the FBI had started paying attention to the actress several months ago. No one knew exactly what they were looking for, but one thing was clear: this was not a small matter. Federal agencies do not waste time on trivial cases, and if they issued a search warrant, they believed something very serious was at play. Of all the attention the raid got, one question has stayed a mystery. What had made Whoopi Goldberg a target? Some legal experts speculated that this might be a financial investigation, given the recent trend of celebrities facing prosecution over tax issues or questionable business dealings. The FBI's tense demeanor, however, suggested that this was more than just a tax matter. The deployment of an armed task force to the home of an aging actress implied a level of severity that went beyond a routine financial investigation. It seemed likely that there was something more serious hidden within Whoopi Goldberg's long career. Whoopi Goldberg had faced intense public scrutiny many times before. She was never afraid to speak her mind, even if it got her into trouble. She had been criticized for comments made on The View, where she co-hosted for many years. Heated debates with guests and controversial statements about politics and society had made her one of the most divisive figures in entertainment. But despite the many controversies, Whoopi Goldberg had never faced a threat that could potentially end her career like this one. As news of the raid spread, social media erupted with a flurry of theories. Reddit, Twitter, and TikTok were flooded with posts about Whoopi Goldberg. Some believed it was just a misunderstanding, while others came up with conspiracy theories about what the FBI might be investigating. But what does this mean for her reputation and her career? Let's delve into that. Whoopi the talk of the town, baby. The Whoopi Goldberg case became a hot topic on late night talk shows, with hosts like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert using their signature sarcasm to comment on the event. However, beneath the humor lay an undeniable truth: Whoopi Goldberg's reputation was in turmoil. When the FBI left Whoopi Goldberg's mansion, they made no official statements, no charges, and no announcements about any crimes. Their silence only fueled the fire, leaving Whoopi's fans to fear that this could be the end of her legendary career. Endorsement deals, movie offers, and even her role on The View could be at risk if the investigation continued. Meanwhile, her critics rejoiced, posting mocking comments. However, Whoopi Goldberg was not one to be easily defeated. Just days after the raid, she addressed the situation in a special episode of The View. She appeared before the audience with a calm demeanor, but her eyes revealed an anger she couldn't mask. "I know what you're all saying," she said. "I've heard it all, but let me make one thing clear. I have nothing to hide." She didn't delve into the details of the investigation, but her message was clear. She wouldn't let this tarnish her career or reputation. However, the FBI's continued silence deepened the mystery. People wondered what was really happening and if Whoopi Goldberg would weather this storm. The investigation began with a thick silence enveloping Whoopi Goldberg's luxurious mansion as FBI agents moved in. The dim glow of flashlights illuminated every corner, every bookshelf, and every perfectly hung painting, but what they were searching for wasn't visible. It was buried deep within the secrets of the house. As the search progressed, one agent noticed something unusual on the wall behind the office. A faint groove, almost invisible, ran along the bottom of the wall. At first, it seemed like just an ordinary decorative detail, but when an agent accidentally touched it, a click echoed through the quiet room. The entire team froze, their eyes fixed on the wall. One seasoned agent skilled at finding hidden rooms crouched down and ran his hand along the groove again. Another click sounded, and this time something shifted. A section of the wall began to move, revealing a small door that wasn't in the mansion's plans. The agents exchanged wary glances, unsure of what lay behind the door. In a tense moment, they drew their guns, ready for whatever might come next. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow hallway that descended into a dark, neglected basement. The air was thick with the musty scent of disuse, as though it hadn't been disturbed in years. They stepped into the secret room, which was starkly different from the rest of the mansion. There was no natural light, only the dim glow from their flashlights revealing dusty shelves and an old table in the middle of the room. But what caught the agent's attention were the metal boxes neatly stacked in one corner. Each box was tightly sealed, appearing untouched for years. One agent opened the first box, revealing a stack of old documents, many marked top secret. Some of the papers had yellowed with age, but their contents were still legible. Another agent flipped through the documents and immediately recognized some familiar names, powerful figures in both entertainment and politics. But what was most shocking wasn't the documents themselves, but an object at the bottom of the box. A handwritten letter made of thick parchment sealed with red wax. This letter had existed for decades, possibly longer, but what truly stunned the FBI was the sender. The wax seal bore a distinctive symbol, one that had appeared in a major unsolved case the FBI had never managed to crack. The lead agent carefully picked up the letter, studying every stroke of the handwriting. The sender didn't sign in their full name, but part of the letter contained a crucial clue. If this letter is found, it means this truth must never be known. The words were cryptic, almost as if written for someone in the future, or perhaps as a warning. But the real question was, how did this letter end up in Whoopi Goldberg's house? Based on the wax seal and the content of the letter, the FBI suspected it was tied to a mysterious case from many years ago, one they had never made public. Some internal sources hinted that this case was linked to one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood history, a missing persons case that had never been solved, a secret concealed by powerful figures. The FBI knew they couldn't jump to conclusions. These documents could be key evidence in a long-forgotten case, or unlock a truth that many had tried to bury, but one thing was certain: the investigation was far from over, and so are the whispers and conspiracy theories. The fascinating theories. The revelation of the secret room sparked a media frenzy, with speculation rampant about what Whoopi Goldberg might be hiding. Theories ranged from plausible to wildly conspiratorial, with some believing she was concealing crucial information about a Hollywood secret, while others suggested a larger conspiracy at play. As the FBI investigation continued, Whoopi Goldberg found herself at the center of one of the Bureau's biggest mysteries. The question on everyone's mind: what did the seized letter truly say, and where would it lead the FBI? In an interview, Whoopi Goldberg addressed the raid, saying, "I woke up one morning with the FBI in my living room. If you think that's a fun way to start your day, you're very wrong." She insisted that the documents in the secret room were harmless, simply a personal collection of memorabilia from her decades-long career. However, a surprising revelation emerged. The secret room was not a hiding place for secrets, but rather a personal museum dedicated to Hollywood history. Whoopi Goldberg explained that the letters exchanged with Howard L. Emerson, the person being investigated by the FBI, were merely discussions about film projects that never came to fruition. When asked if she thought the raid was a conspiracy to bring her down, she replied with a cryptic smile, "Let's just say Hollywood is full of surprises. Some people don't like it when you ask too many questions." This statement sparked further speculation about the investigation and Whoopi's potential enemies. Industry sources revealed that the FBI had received an anonymous tip leading to the raid on Whoopi's mansion, raising questions about the motivations behind the investigation. Who was behind the tip, and why did they want to target Whoopi Goldberg? Let's find out. Hidden behind the veil. The interview's aftermath sparked a deeply divided public opinion. While some believed Whoopi Goldberg was innocent, a victim of misunderstanding, or even a political conspiracy, Others remained skeptical. The FBI's raid on her mansion raised more questions than answers. The discovery of a VHS tape in a secret room added to the mystery surrounding Whoopi Goldberg, raising speculation about what she might be hiding and whether the tape contained an old movie or something more incriminating. As the entertainment industry reacted, Whoopi Goldberg found herself at the center of a media storm. Her iconic status couldn't shield her from the fallout. Within days, major studios took decisive action. A film project featuring Whoopi Goldberg was put on indefinite hold, and a documentary she was producing lost its funding. Even her show, The View, faced tense moments as sponsors withdrew. Hollywood's pragmatic nature was on full display. When stars shine, the world follows, but when scandal hits, they're quickly abandoned. Goldberg's situation sparked a frenzy, with some defending her against what they saw as an unreasonable FBI raid. Others were cautious, avoiding mention of her name or deleting past social media posts. The public was equally divided. Some fans believed she was a victim of a grand conspiracy, while others were uneasy, citing unanswered questions and the FBI's lack of transparency. As public opinion remained fractured, Whoopi's situation grew more precarious. This wasn't her first brush with controversy, but would it be the one that left a lasting stain on her career? Only time will tell. Whoopi Goldberg Holocaust remarks. Whoopi Goldberg has been something akin to a controversy magnet, a trait that crept into talk shows. One forced her employers to suspend her from a U.S. talk show after saying the Holocaust involved two groups of white people. ABC News revealed that Goldberg would be off air for 2 weeks after her wrong and hurtful comments. The actress and TV personality said on ABC's The View that the Nazi genocide of the Jews was not about race, a comment that generated a great deal of negative attention. After pondering on the impacts of her comments, she decided to apologize but then caused further offense while attempting to explain her remarks. ABC News President Kim Godwin sent a note to staff announcing that Whoopi Goldberg would be suspended for 2 weeks, effective immediately, due to her wrong and hurtful comments. Although Whoopi Goldberg had apologized, Godwin had asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. The entire ABC News organization stood in solidarity with their Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities. Godwin acknowledged that such decisions are never easy but necessary. She noted that not too long ago, she had highlighted the culture at ABC News as driven, kind, inclusive, respectful, and transparent, values that Whoopi Goldberg's comments did not align with. Godwin simply distanced herself from the fiery storm Goldberg had put herself in. Goldberg later issued another public apology. She began her next talk show by acknowledging her mistake, stating that she had misspoken. She clarified that the Holocaust was indeed about race, as Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Goldberg emphasized that words matter and hers were no exception. She expressed regret for her comments and acknowledged being corrected. Additionally, she affirmed her support for the Jewish people, but the die had already been cast. The Oscar-winning actress, who has been on The View since 2007, first made the controversial comments on the show while discussing a Tennessee school board's banning of a graphic novel about the Holocaust on the grounds that it showed unacceptable things. Amid the uproar, she released an apology hours later. But on CBS's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on Monday night, while attempting to clarify her comments, she said the Nazis had lied and actually had issues with ethnicity, not race, which caused further offense. It is not the first nor the last time Goldberg has caused controversy. She said in 2009 that film director Roman Polanski, who pleaded guilty to unlawful intimacy with a minor in 1977, was not guilty of what he was accused of. She also defended Bill Cosby when he faced indecent intimacy allegations, before reversing course amid a backlash. Well, one thing's clear. Whoopi Goldberg had weathered storms before, but this particular one with the FBI might take a very long time to clear. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out another interesting video by clicking on the video shown on your screen. See you on the other side.